Let me start with simple statistics. So, according to RBI data, more than a third of digital payment users in India are from rural areas, and rural and semi-urban areas, roughly 38% of people prefer UPI as their mode of payment. And merchant awareness is very high, and today most of the merchants are ready to imbibe digital payments, and they are adopting it very fastly. So India today processes more digital transactions in a single month than most countries do in a year. And a large share of that comes through UPI. From small town kirana stores to cab drivers to chai vendors, digital payments have become a part of daily life today. Yet behind every scan and pay moment lies years of innovation, infrastructure and trust building by fintech pioneers like Cashfree and Epopay. Welcome to the panel.
Thank you.
So let me start with you. So when you started Cash Free back in 2015, the payment ecosystem was not that great probably. So what gap did you spot in the market at that point of time to believe that this was doable?
Yeah, hi. Thanks for having me. It's been great coming here. I'm coming from the Global FinTech Fest in Bombay, which was, supposed to be a big deal, but I think the energy here is, kind of matching and at the same level. Yeah, I think when we started 10 years back, it was very hard to get started collecting payments online. Payments was not as I would say omnipresent as it is today. Today, everyone has used UPI, and everyone is dying to pay online or sign up for an online gateway. But back then, people used to ask, why should I pay this extra transaction fee, and why can't I just collect cash? So I think what we wanted to do was make the process of onboarding really very easy, because if people used to go to banks and it used to take 6 months to get onboarded with a lot of paperwork, and even when you got onboarded there were issues, right? Like, are you getting all access to all the payment methods? Things like international payments are not available, right? And then lastly, does it work? So as of today, what we are trying to enable is anyone starting out of their homes in any city of India can get online, set up a shop, and sell globally to all the countries in 140 currencies on day zero. So we ensure everyone is onboarded. At least 90% of all the businesses we onboard on the same day. And it works. All the payment methods are available. You can sell globally, and everything just works, right? So that's what we've tried, and it seems like a simple problem, but it's hard to kind of if you look at it at the end of the day. Yeah.
So thanks, Riju, for the introduction. Coming to you, Mohan, we all know that you didn't start from Bangalore or Bombay,
Yes.
but a fintech from Chennai, as you shared in your story. So, what gap did you see in India's payment ecosystem, but to reach the rural tier 2, tier 3 cities? So, what was the gap that you saw when other players were seeing a different ecosystem?
So thank you so much. I will share what gap we are seeing from Tamil Nadu, because we are Tamil Nadu focused startup. The primary focus for us to start from tier 2 to rural area. Okay. So we are seeing very different set of segment and the merchant. If you see Riju, he focused online payment gateway. His targeted merchant is very different than what we are doing in the market. Okay. So at Ipopay, we focus rural area to accept UPI payments. Okay. Mostly in those sector, if you see like banks are like dominating in those areas, but in terms of digital payments, we are the number one in those sector. Okay. So the education is the biggest gap for us, because they are not yet adapted in terms of UPI, the technology, and everything is in English or Hindi. Obviously, we have to educate them how to use application, how to receive payments, all those stuff. There are a lot of innovations, UPI, Soundbox, POS. So the major challenge for me, or the gap for me, to cover the education part, which we are doing formally in those sector.
So this question is for both of you. So we have seen a bigger shift in India's digital payment. So especially in the smaller towns and rural areas, as Mohan pointed out. So what changes are you seeing from the India that you saw 5, 6 years back in the digital payment sector, and how are they embracing digital payments?
Yeah, I think that's a valid point. I think so. The good thing about internet and digital payments is it's a great leveler, right? It does not matter where you come from. Everyone has access to internet, And if you're ambitious enough, you can build your product out of any corner of India and you can start selling it online. Right. So I think we have seen a lot of small businesses, startups coming out of the smaller cities. We now go to cities like Surat, Ahmedabad, Jaipur, which are the hubs, and then there are spokes further along. We see a lot of these people signing up. Right. Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, Chennai remain the largest hubs in terms of startups, but a lot of smaller startups have started coming up from these smaller cities. So that is the first part. And two, they're selling globally. I think today, if selling within the local market is probably a lot of people do, but I think selling globally, building for the global market is the new thing that we are seeing. And those are the two things that are happening, I think, in the last 2-3 years since the lockdown.
So what about you, Mohan? Like you said that you always reached out to tier 2, tier 3, and especially the small vendors. ஒரு இளநீர் கடை கூட நீங்க இப்போ pay யூஸ் பண்ற மாதிரி you had made it இல்லையா? But educating them with digital payment and the trust, creating the trust because it is money. So what was that you adopted to convince these people?
Exactly. So what happened in the, especially in our market, so this is very low trust community people, which means ஒரு சின்ன mistake ஆனாலும் அதுக்கப்புறம் அவங்களை convince பண்றது வந்து is very challenging. We have to send up people and make them explain. அப்பதான் அவங்க QR code எடுத்து மேலே வைப்பாங்க. But once we trusted, especially the rural people, once they trusted us, that's it. Like they won't change, keep on changing the QR code. So especially what we did was, we hired from the local people. Let's say we have lots of merchants in Madurai, Tiruchi, Coimbatore. We hire from the local people as a FSC, field sales executive, so they can easily create like a relationship with the merchant, explain to them, we are a local company, we have that local name, this is very positive. That's how we convince people to accept Ipopay as their UPI partner.
So, Riju, like Cash Free began by enabling online collection of payments through API gateway, right? So, what were your earlier theses when you wanted to simplify payment collection?
Yeah, I think it's a journey, right? I mean, on day one, I mean, when you start up, I think you start with a thesis and then you evolve around the way as the market kind of tells you. So when we started, we were trying to solve for cash on delivery payments. That time 70% of everything was cash on delivery, which it is not today, right? And then merchants told us, that why don't you build us, we have this online website and we want to accept payments, and these are the problems that we have, right? It's very hard to deal with a bank. I'm dealing with the bank for 6 months. I'm not getting access to international payments. Why don't you, help build it for us? So that is also initially we started. We were, talking to all these restaurants in Bangalore. So I used to go to all these around 200, 300 odd restaurants. We spoke all around Bangalore, and that's where we got all this feedback from. Right, and then we evolved into building websites, and then we got deeper into payments, and we specialized. And I think the focus has been on startups. So today, if you, I mean, just to give a stat, right? I think in India, around 16 to 17,000 new businesses are created every month, if you go by the data, government data, and around 25 to 30% of them sign up with cash free. So yeah, that has been the focus. New startups, starting up can just access online payments on day one, right? And then the market tells you what to do.
This is also for both of you. So, fintech is one area where it is highly regulated. So, there have been guidelines and policies that keeps changing. So, I remember that you had also had to pivot at one point of time. So, what were the challenges when you faced that there is guidelines that is coming up when you had planned something to go ahead in your business? So you were also one of the ones who shifted to QR based collections. So how did you manage this? And I would also like to hear from Riju after.
Yeah. So first of all, from regulator side, so I would, I would probably say that RBI, our central bank, is one of the very active central bank in the world. Okay. So end of the day, regulators are regulators. Whatever they say, we have to follow. Okay. No other go. Their main focus is to solve the problem. Because there are a lot of digital fraud. So many things are KYC misuse. There are so many things happening. So when they come up with the regulation, we even Riju would accept. We always welcoming the regulation policy. We just implement the policy. We have the best team in place to follow up. But what happened with us for last time is very different. So we had a date issue. Okay, so the RBI said you comes under new payment gateway, so you have to come and apply after 1 year. Okay, but luckily, what happened when we were scaling in the online payment gateway? Okay, so we were building a offline stack, which means in India usually say you have to focus one particular area, go deep into it, right? So I was following Mr. Girish Mathrubudam one day. He was speaking on the panel. He specifically mentioned that once one product got success, you got to start focusing on another product. That's my inspiration. When we started building an offline stack, okay, so that time, like unfortunate or fortunate, the online was top of us. We scaled from offline payment gateway. It was the right decision because end of the day, we still comes under fintech, we still comes under RBI. I was focusing online, different set of merchant. Now I am focusing very different merchant in terms of tier 2, tier 3.
What about you? How do you manage when there are sudden changes in the regulations?
Yeah. Yeah, so I think license from a regulator like RBI, it might seem like a big thing, but if I'll try to boil it down to as simple things as I can. I think two things maybe are needed, like maybe some amount of capital I think is needed when it is what from RBI's point of view, and maybe prioritizing things which are actually hygiene, which companies should have in order to maintain, have safeguards and have customer interests in mind, but may not immediately give monetary benefits. They have long-term benefits. So, but which you have to prioritize if you have to be a licensed entity. So that is an essence of license. From our point of view, I think we try to balance innovation while being compliant, right? I think we have while everyone looks at compliance, and I think when you try to be compliance, innovation goes for a toss, right? But how do you ensure? So, for instance, right, as I was saying, we try to onboard businesses in hours, right, and not months and weeks. While staying compliant. So how do you do that, I think, is the challenge. Make sure your processes are very automated, very AI driven, and not have a lot of human interference and human bias. So that is a part I think we have done reasonably well. I would say we are one of the first entities that got the payment aggregator license. We have a payment aggregator cross-border license. Right, and we have a PPI license, which is the wallet license that we might be aware of. So yeah, so the challenge is managing innovation with compliance, right, and apart from that, I think it's just prioritizing. It's a matter of prioritizing some things that we might not usually do because it has long-term returns and not short-term returns.
Like you mentioned now that you've been enabling Indian business to accept payments in 140 plus countries. So what does it build for a fintech company to cross border, especially in the payment sector? And what are the difference that you see between the domestic payment sector and the other countries?
Yeah, I think firstly, cross-border payments, from a payments point of view, the margins are higher, right? So it makes good business sense, right? If someone is looking to start up in payments specifically, I would say look at the cross-border space. But apart from that, I think there is an added element of risk and compliance since this is money going across borders. Hence, the accessibility is very, relatively low, and hence, you can go in with a innovative product and sign up customers. But largely from a market evolution point of view, as I was saying today, people in India or startups in India are looking to sell globally. That is very important. And second, global startups, global companies are also looking to come to India and access the Indian market. So for instance, India is the second largest market for AI, right, after the US. So every AI company in the world wants to come to India and collect payments from India through something like UPI, right? And we are kind of talking to them, and we have signed up a lot of the leading AI companies, which maybe we'll discuss more shortly. But I think that is also a big trend, right? Both global businesses accessing the Indian market and Indian startups accessing the global markets. And payments is kind of at the, I would say, foundational infrastructure to enable that. So that's what's happening.
That's wonderful. Mohan, like now that you are moving away from more than payments to lending, and you are catering to neobanks for MSME. So what is Hippopay's plan now that we know that it's a homegrown brand of Tamil Nadu, and what are your other plans in expansion, and where do you see your market going?
Okay, so we are not moving away from payments.
Expanding.
Expanding. Yeah. So the payments is core for Hippopay. Since we have more than 5 lakh merchants, we distributed QR code to those sectors. Now we are focusing in the lending side. So we are helping them to get the very formal way of credits. Okay, that's one segment. The other segment is to neobank. So we usually don't say neobank where friend of regulators are banks, but technically it is. So we are going to offer an individual current account for those merchants because so opening a current account is a big challenge for them because they have to go to bank, stand on the queue. It's almost 3 hours process. So we are sending, since already they are our merchant, we are sending our own FSC to open an individual current account within 20 minutes. We disperse the cards and these things. Okay. So end of the day, the money will flow within us. Whoever pays, the money will get credited into their own current account. So where they can easily underwrite for the credits. So because in our segment, like most of them are, like cash. Most of them are cash. So it's underwriting is very tough for us, obviously. So because we are into unsecured, they doesn't have a CIBIL score. So using this transaction volume, we can keep tracking their volume, and we can easily offer a loan. So individual current account, credits, and the payments are the core. These are the focus area which we are doing right now.
That's lovely. So I think we are coming nearing to the end. So with the fresh funding and your other expansions, what does the next phase of Cash Free looks like? And also as a founder yourself, so I would want you to tell people who are trying to get into fintech space. There are still startups who are coming with. Is there a space for startups to get into the fintech area? And what do you think is the future is going to be?
Yeah, I think there is a lot of, because I think we have not, I mean, AI in finance is like this big theme as AI in anything is right now. So I think there is a lot of scope, I would say. Payments, how they look today, and how they will look, let's say 10, 15 years down the line will be very different. So happy to discuss if there are specific ideas offline. I can, but I think AI in finance is a big theme. Enabling credit is a big theme. Cross-border payments, as I said, is a very big theme. So these are some things. Fraud, using AI and machine learning to detect fraud. I mean, all of us are aware of the problem of digital fraud. So yeah, these are some of the things I can come off right now. But yeah, I think definitely a great time to start any startup, and within fintech, I think also we'll see a lot of innovation happening because the policies are also, looking to have, more startups and a vibrant fintech ecosystem. So yeah, I think things are good there.
Now that you've come to Tamil Nadu, is Cash Free having any plans with Tamil Nadu market? And entrepreneurs are sitting here, so you could throw some light on.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, firstly, happy to collaborate with Startup Tamil Nadu. I think we might look to give some offers in terms of discounted rates. So right now, since we are also running this campaign and we are offering 1.6% on payment gateway charges, which is pretty low. I think pretty aggressive as far as the market goes. So continue more of that. But again, like I think we are based out of Bangalore. But again, we're an internet company, so anyone from Tamil Nadu also can sign up on our website and get started within the day and avail anything that they need to do. And I am reachable over LinkedIn in case anyone wants to kind of connect.
And one good news is they are celebrating their 10th year. Cash Free is completed. I think they can get a huge round of applause. So more power to you. So coming to you, Mohan, you have been an inspiring entrepreneur from Tamil Nadu as a face of Tamil Nadu and building the Tamil Nadu story. So what do you want to tell the entrepreneurs sitting here who want to get into this fintech space as well as any startup space? So like Riju said, do you think there is still space for fintech startups to come in? Where do you think they should actually step into?
Yeah, I was speaking in the another panel. Prabhu was moderating. Yeah, Prabhu was moderating that particular panel. He asked me like, Mohan, what do you think at 2023? I said 2023, I believe that many fintechs will become a banks. Okay, so there are still a lot of opportunity in terms of financial inclusion and digital inclusion. More startups are welcome. Whoever comes to fintech, you have to like specifically concentrate. One thing is the regulations. Okay, you make sure that you are fully compliant. Your KYC process, all other compliance process fully taken care. That's the only advice I can say. Whoever comes under fintech category.
Any motivating words for all the aspiring entrepreneurs sitting out there.
ஓகே ஸோ நம்ம ஊர் தமிழ்நாட்டு பசங்களுக்கு வந்து இந்த உழைக்கிறதுக்கு சொல்லிக் கொடுக்க தேவையில்லை. ஸோ வி ஆர் வெரி வெரி ஹார்ட் ஒர்க்கிங் பர்சன். ஓகே, மை ஃபாதர் இஸ் 68, ஹீ ஸ்டில் ஒர்க்ஸ். ஓகேங்களா, இதுதான் நம்மளுடைய பெரிய பலம். அதர் சைடு வந்துட்டு வி ஹாவ் டு பி வெல் வெல் எஃபிஷியன்ட். அப்படின்னா நம்ம நிறையா கற்றுக்கணும். படித்து முடித்த உடனே ஸ்டார்ட் அப் பண்ணக்கூடாது. யூ ஹாவ் டு கோ டு ஒர்க் ஃபார் ஸ்மால் கம்பெனி ஃபார் 5 years, லேர்ன் மெனி திங்ஸ், பிகாஸ் எவ்ரி வெர்டிக்கல் ஹேஸ் மினிமம், எவ்ரி ஸ்டார்ட் அப் ஹேஸ் மினிமம் 10 வெர்டிகல்ஸ். நிறையா கற்றுக்கிட்டு அதுக்கப்புறம் தான் ஸ்டார்ட் அப் பண்ணணும் அப்படிங்கிறது தான் என்னுடைய அட்வைஸ்.
Thank you so much.